I mean, like, Cato Nemoidia seems really ripe for the taking.
Yeah, just remember, I gave you a briefcase that was an IED. I have many more where that came from.
Sweet.
I can do this once a turn.
Well, gentlemen, let's just say that some characters we're accused of giving them plot armor. Sometimes a module gives major NPCs plot armor because without them, they can't lead you to the next adventure. If they're dead, then,
I actually really don't have much against Darga. Personally.
What was that one movie with, I can't remember his name. Denzel Washington. Man on Fire?
Darga on Fire?
I wish you had more time.
All than Darga.
So Jeff, I just realized that my character is pretty much going to be unconscious for the next 6 hours.
Which? Who?
Assuming we're doing Star Wars.
Oh, we're already streaming. I picked it up as I want to kill Darga. Click. Really? Tell me more, Matt. So no, we're live. Hey, but there's always that lead in. What's going on? So hello again. Probably more technical. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Welcome to the Mongers bundle. You've either watched or are about to watch something very special this week. So I want to know, have you, depending on what channel you're watching, Dark Galaxy's Gaming, our own GM's Cut Twitch, depending on what we're flipping back and forth, have you already seen a whole bunch of us take up arms and play test the new Pathfinder 2nd Edition, dropped by Paizo, the Oracle, the Swashbuckler, the Investigator, the Witch, and what did we do? Keep telling you about Crownfall and how Lion's Justice jumped right in there. Now, depending on what channel you watched, you already know this. Or maybe you should stay tuned after this episode of Star Wars and find out how we are going to combine Age of Ashes and War for the Crown with a very, very, very special possible finale episode of, it'll always go on, Echoes of Honor. But for right now, plot armor for Darga? No. I'm sure if he's sleeping, you guys could just wrap the big Chewbacca belt of C4 around him and just blow that slug all over the wall like Slimer from Ghostbusters. I'm sure it'd be easy peasy. It's not like you have an entire place of guards and elite soldiers and right? No? We'll see. We shall see.
Fair enough.
So when last we left our heroes, I had a map for you. I'm having trouble finding that map now. Going to the map. So, gentlemen, was it Rahal and Haas trying to decrypt Switch's message and failed? Was it Poser faking out his rapid recovery? Was it Poser in a force trance, and then now maybe a little bit from Rahal, listening, help me, Rob, mute your mic, you're wheezing, help me, follow me, guide me, that kind of thing. And Rahal got up, skipped the eggs and brekkie, forget the transcoder, and was doing what? Rounding the troops. Who's on their feet? Dr. Leth was given a report.
I was trying to see who's stable enough to accompany me back to Darga's palace, because my gut's telling me something's happening there.
Okay.
Well, the long and the short of it is, if Merrick takes another shot, he'll be just as useless as he was yesterday.
Why are you muted?
Apparently.
I'm awake. I'm right here.
Right.
I'm very well aware that you're awake. The other, As far as Poser, he seems to be doing quite well. Perhaps he really did need a rest. At any rate, he seems that he could take. He seems he could at least survive an encounter or so. I leave the choice up to him. As far as Zin, I believe he is taking a sabbatical.
Yeah. That's what we're calling it these days. Fair enough. Posa. I'll walk over to him on the cot. You up, buddy?
Eyes slowly open. Yes.
You're going to have to fill me in on what happened after we parted ways. But are you up for another foray back to the palace? My gut's telling me there's still some business we got to attend to there.
My gut's telling me the same. Yes, I'll join you.
Excellent. Very good. I think the three of us should be able to handle things. I'll get on the comms. Haas, I think we're going to need you to come with us once you get us all landed and squared away. Merrick, I trust you'll see to the defenses while Weez is gone. Dr. Leth, you've been working overtime. You deserve some beauty sleep, if I don't say so. You know what? Before we go, Haas, bring that data pad in here.
Will do. And is our excursion a diplomatic or non-diplomatic?
I'd say be prepared for anything at this point.
Enough.
I'll hand the data pad to Les.
He's picking which laser eye, the happy blue one or the deadly looking red Terminator one. He's got the little bulbs, you know. Which one am I going with today, sir? Sorry, go ahead.
See if you can get R4 to crack the encryption on this, but keep it confidential. And I'll hand the data pad over.
To who? Jay?
Okay.
To Leth.
Oh, okay. Leth. I'm gonna
Yes.
forget. And as soon as you get a chance to do this, you're probably, if you're successful, gonna want to call them on the comms. So as soon as they're out the door, maybe? Or do you want to throw it on the desk? Meh.
Yeah, certainly. I'll take a look. It's easy enough to get it done before and then just go back to sleep. So I would take out my Excalc computer.
What does that do?
Plug
That
that in
sounds
and then-
worth mentioning, or that you mentioned it on purpose. Do tell.
My Excalc computer is basically it's the hacking computer that I picked up earlier. As soon as I plug it in, the computer that any port that I plug it into, that particular computer considers it. I believe it considers it friendly, but at the very least neutral.
Okay. So it just gives me a straight DC, because I don't think they're they're using the here, hit this DC and you're good, as opposed to going through each roll set or whatever. But that's the good news. But you want to get Arthur and yourself hacking away at it and have at it? Sure.
Yes. At any rate, we would then begin looking in on it. This is a new section, so I will also use a burst of inspiration.
Okay.
And having, of course, R4 also assisting me. So mine is a 23. Having R4 assist. 21. So a total of 25.
Okay. You seeing that?
I am not. Oh, sorry.
I'm trying not to let the camera draw to me. I'm just trying to hold you up to what you learned so you can play it in character. But anyway, you know what?
Drop that in the Zoom trap, my friend.
I will. So back to our main party.
All right, Posa. Haas,
Secret message going out to Jay here in just a moment.
We'd best be prepared for anything. I'll actually. What's our med pack supply looking like between all of us here?
I have 0.
How many do I have?
Oh,
Oh, I got
0.
5. We're good.
You're fine.
We're
fine.
good. We're just fine.
Fine.
And I'll don my stormtrooper armor.
Wait, since I'm below half and it's a new day, can I second wind?
Should be able
I guess
to.
so, yeah. Out of the gate. It couldn't hurt, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't hurt.
Yes, I will then, when I get the chance, get back on the comms.
So I'll grab Haas, grab Poser, make sure that they're equipped
Okay.
to handle
So-
kind of anything.
So by the time you get equipped and actually walk, the 5-10 minutes or whatever, and begin entering the compound, and you remember the great big huge doors where the guy it opens and then all of a sudden they have to wait. And then it stops, and you got to get the guy to come out and push it, and you're just entering that motor pool courtyard.
Yep.
Dr. Left comes over the comms.
Well, this is certainly an interesting piece of equipment, also rather pertinent considering what just happened. According to this, the Major Domo has been in contact with Imperial soldiers.
And the plot thickens.
I'll quickly scan through. Yes, it doesn't seem to tell me specifically with whom he is contacting, but he is spreading information about Darga's dealings. Specifically, most of these pertain to the slave trade on a fairly regular basis. Most recently, slaves.
Wait, Doctor.
Apparently,
So let me get this straight. Are you telling me that Darga's maitre domo is a rat?
it seems to be. He is specifically mentioning some form of prisoner. It's just the prisoner is referred to a few times here in the most recent messages, but it doesn't give any details about who this prisoner may be. It does, however, it is also specifically talking at this point about the slave trade and how they're actually rather unhappy about the recent merchandise, but
I always
really sure
hated
what to
that
make of
business. I mean, I get the value of the human commodity, but you get so much more out of people when they're rewarded.
or when you make them.
Thank you very much, good doctor. I knew I was leaving that in good hands.
Best of luck.
Indeed.
And I forward him a copy of the files so that he can have it as evidence.
Okay.
Sweet.
So.
And then I go sleep.
Arthur, turn the winch faster. And he was raised back up in there, right? Entering the compound. It rained last night. And this old bath-tiled mosaic broken down mansion doesn't have the best plumbing. There is water trapped on rooftops that are just pouring in along walls. The place just has a sort of a very damp, musty, new feel to it. Before it was so dry, because you guys are way up in the air, and there's always that wind up here, right? And now it's like, oh, great, everything's wet and falling apart. And
Yeah, well, before we even got in there, though, on the way there, I would totally ask Poser about what went down after we parted ways, on the way. I don't want to go in there not knowing exactly what his side of the story is. So we got 20 minutes
Sure,
of
sure.
walking.
Have at it.
So sorry, it just reminded me. So I, on the way. So, Posa, what happened last night, buddy? You said you had something to take care of. When I got back to the palace, you was being carried by one of them beefcake GAurdians.
Yes, I'm aware that I did not end up in the best of circumstances. I had a hunch, similar to your gut feelings. I went to go investigate, and it ended up being not a trap per se, similar to what we ran into in the atrium, but more resistance than I was able to. Well, long story short, I got at the bad end of one of the larger GAurdian guards when I was checking on some of the smaller ones. I came upon them when they were already downed, as I think they seemed to me like they had been poisoned, but I wasn't sure. Because one had already fallen, the second was falling as I showed up, and the third dropped shortly after. I don't know what was in the food. But based on what happened with the slaves earlier, it's my best assumption. I went to go check on them. I had my weapon drawn. One of the large ones showed up. I tried to explain myself. He came at me. I tried to defend myself. It did not go well. I kept trying to talk my way out of it, run away. That didn't work. And he hit the alarm after some back and forth for a bit. And I expected the entire palace to come running. Two more very large GAurdians showed up, and then they knocked me out as I was surrendering. So I'm sure you heard all that on the comms.
Right. I was wondering what that was about.
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay, so some more poisonings, and you didn't happen to stumble across any of these slaves he was talking about, did you?
No. All I saw were GAurdians.
Right.
So like I said, I'm assuming poison, but I don't know. But yeah, I was actually surprised that only the two large GAurdians came from the door that they were guarding. I didn't see anyone else, but then again, I was out pretty quick afterwards.
You remember the way back there?
Yes, I do.
All right. Okay. I'm sorry that happened to you, Poser. But maybe we can get this all sorted out, and then we'll carry on the way and get into the compound and get the message that pertains even more to slave trading and whatnot.
Okay. So, guys, coming upon Darga's throne room once again. A sad shamble of curtain and tattered, like probably once very expensive, with very rich embossed etching on these, these curtains and tapestries. And Darga must fancy the gauche looking scenes that are playing out. They're erect, they're stained, there's holes in them, and the wind blows through them right off the balcony into the room. The wind is picked up today, and that, along with, again, the sort of ambience of the constant last night's rainwater dripping in, almost makes the place seem like it's under renovation. Everyone here just, completely ignores it. So we've got Poser, Haas, and Rahal once again, yes?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Come in for your morning audience, as it were.
Yep.
did you want to get right into it about anything, or you want to just see what's going on today?
Who's in the room?
As usual, lots of guards. The Quarren assassins that were stalking corners and stuff are gone and dead because you've like wiped them out or whatever. But Darga seems to be in a relatively good mood.
Is a Majordomo there?
Yep.
Okay.
Good morning, mimosa, orange juice, kind of thing. I don't want to, Anyway, he turns to the Majordomo and starts talking to him quietly and waves the droid forward. My illustrious Lord Darga bids you welcome once again to his hall. After an intense morning of... And he sort of just kind of rattles his metal fingers like they're supposed to be sharp knives or something up in the air. Interrogation and supplication and a few other ations of the subject. We've learned that Darga's unfortunate, shall we say, hired help received false orders, not of his command. Be assured that the culprit will be found, and that Darga himself will not allow any more of these transgressions under his roof. And he literally points at the ceiling, which is flooding, leaking in the one corner, towards any of his illustrious hosts and future business partners. Big smiling, as if they're just there you go. Anyway, while this is going on, and he's stepping forward, explaining the verdict or what they found, you see Demos and the hut huddled up, and Demos is listening, not talking to him, he's giving him orders, and he goes off, leaves to go do something. And again, Darga claps his hands and refreshments come out, and the jazz music is played and everything. Lets you guys offers you some fruit dish, breakfast, that kind of thing. Gives you that acceptable lounge time before today's business will start.
Sure. And in the interim here, I'm actually going to approach the dais.
Okay.
And in Huttese, I'm going to address Darga directly.
Okay.
And I'll go into the details. Uwa wana wanga chi ma chuchula Majordomo badagaya shishuwa narc for the emperor about your slave trado.
Force pointo formato. Me think you've been sitting on that a while, with some restraint, kudos, kind of suspected, you understood the whole time, is, good man, that don't play all his cards up front, and he pops his chest and gives the peace sign, respect, He seems in a really, really good mood for no good reason this morning.
Perfect. So after the whole reveal,
Okay.
and I'll even slide the data pad over to him with the evidence and be like,
so he takes it from you and immediately deposits it like it's not important at this moment, puts it on the tray beside him, and then pulls you in he wants to talk to you really quiet.
so I lean in.
Special guesto finally arrival today. Stand aside and watch how it's done. But want you to, interfere if necessary and back me up. Interested in your reaction with special client. Be watching you, but hope for the best. And they, some guard comes and announces that a shuttle has arrived, and an appointment scheduled. Some very special guests are coming in late, and he's very excited, and he's like, "How do I look on?" He's kind of fluffing himself up. Anyway, you guys all stand aside. You want to take a point, like crowd up in a corner or whatever. But he's about to receive someone important. He's excited about.
Absolutely. So I'll shift us over to the side of the stage, and I'll get Haas and Poser to slide on over.
No, he
with
wants you
me.
guys to like. He wants you guys to like, blend, like you're part of his guy. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So like take a wall, as it were.
Sweet. Then so when we'll cruise on over.
Okay. So, as suspected, finally, Imperial troops arrive. And I'm just going to put these guys up on the layer here. Shout out to our sponsor, Devon Knight, for some impressive space opera, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, no copyright infringement tokens that we're using today. You guys, a bunch of stormtroopers and a Imperial officer is what you expect. But this is not how they are dressed. However, the way these guys roll into the room, and being veterans of the Clone Wars yourselves, I'm just going to drop these minis because their disguise is thin at best. However, can I have a perception roll from the three of you as I describe in detail who enters the room?
18.
25.
19.
Okay. All sufficient. 18 and 19. Haas. Two men in sort of, your standard mercenary looking gear come in. They could be twins. Very little difference in hairstyle and haircut. Actually, maybe brothers to distinguish themselves. But two human males, approximately 35 to 40 years old, appearance, mocha skin, black hair, a Batman,
The clones.
Batman Aussie accent, come in and take point either side of a woman.
Those two are mine.
Sorry, I've lost my page here, and anyway, we'll
Put away that detonator.
Dun dun dun. We'll be right back.
Okay. It might have been for hero points
What are you looking for?
in
might be-
Pathfinder.
And we're back. What?
Oh, sorry.
Nothing.
We were just cheating.
Plotting?
Yeah.
Plotting?
I mean, pretty much.
Plotting?
I mean, not really, but we were hoping we could.
You're hoping you could. Oh, that's fair enough.
You-
Yeah,
Using the
are
system
force points
provided to us.
transferable?
What's that?
Are force points
What,
transferable?
to each character? No. What? Yeah.
No, okay.
No, you have your own. Don't touch my stuff.
I have my own force points.
Okay.
You have your own.
So, like I was saying, none of them are wearing any kind of Imperial uniform, but you know, their walk, their talk, and even after you guys make your observations, an Imperial officer, a liaison, Rahal, with your higher score of perception, stands before you. And you also notice, all three of you, that the two men carry identical blaster carbines.
Amateurs.
I loosen my blaster pistol in its holster.
Okay.
I take the safety off.
A whisper goes through the room. Imperial agents, Imperial agents. You know, like this Imperial agents, you know, like the rest of the room also kind of, you know, catches on. Anyway, so Rahal.
Yes.
Do you tell the boys what Darga discussed with you? He, amongst that back and forth, even though we were kind of having some fun, Darga does explain that he expects the Empire, his special guest, to double cross him.
Okay.
And he implores you to, you know, watch the proceedings and, if you can, help him maintain the upper hand in negotiations. This would, you know, ingratiate you to him greatly.
Okay.
You know, forgive and forget all that crap about last night. You know, help me screw over the Empire. You know, come out ahead.
And I'm totally hip to that.
So, he's very pleased, if you agree, and, you know, as we were saying, off to the side with you.
And then and then I will give the guys a quick little play-by-play off in the corner. Let them know where things are standing.
Okay. So, not really up, like, for a crime lord, like, the Darga has tells, man. When these guys roll in, right, immediate Darga, like, literally rolls his eyes very meaningfully towards you guys and greets these newcomers. Always a pleasure to serve the Empire. What can I do for you, Wada today? This is obviously translated by, you know, the droid. My illustrious, you know. But now that you've revealed that you can speak Huttese, instead of having wada and then the droid go off, the droid is translating for those that can't speak Huttese, but we'll keep it in Huttese now the players have done the big reveal. Speed things along.
Yep.
If his big gesture, rolling his eyes, has tipped them off, they don't seem to give any indication at this time. The female Imperial liaison wastes no time and launches into a spiel about transferring Tabana gas from Darga's holdings to the Empire. I insist that while your supplies have been sufficient thus far, the Empire requires you to step up your production of the refined Tabana gas immediately. The galactic lore, I don't know about tactics, physical science. Anyone?
No.
Do you have your
Physical knowledge, physical science.
when
20.
things got all intriguing? Did you get the comms open? No, Jay's sleeping. Right. He literally went, I'm going to sleep. So that basically means comms off. Sorry, what'd you get?
No, I got knowledge, physical science,
Okay.
20.
Do you know what Tabana gas is used for when they refine it?
I'm gonna guess explosives.
It's what they use for turbo laser bolts.
Oh, okay.
So, in ships, and it's basically ammunition. Think of it as space gunpowder, right?
Okay.
The Tabana gas is refined and is a key component in making blaster bolt ammunition for everything, even big gunships, you name it.
Okay.
So then they begin into a negotiation, right? The Empire wants a substantial amount of quantity from Darga, one of their apparently go-tos for Tabana gas, wherever he's getting it from, and he gets it, holds it, and they come and get it. But they want it refined and, delivered, and they want more. And they offer him 80% increase in payment, but they want double the shipment. So they're offering 80% cash for a 100% increase.
Well, that's not a really good deal now, is it?
However, more than fair, since, he'll be making money overall. However, sorry. So, there's your hut going, screwing me out of the gate. Double the quantity should be double the cost. But to make up your 20%, we are willing to further 20% increase in our payments if the illustrious Dava accepts the increase in biological resources. Also, we can provide Lord Darga with a personal a personal, shall we say, elite security retinue as a sign of our continued good faith in these dealings. So they'll give men and guards to help with guarding the shipments that are about to double, and for an 80% increase to get that extra 20%, so he actually is doubling his money, they would like to see an increase in whatever biological resource he is also offering on top of the Tabana gas.
Okay. Very interesting.
Okay. So, here is our, here's our hut. And he does the big, think it over, one moment, and he actually turns and looks right at you guys and, waves you over.
So I'll step towards the dais.
Okay.
My lord?
And just sort of motions at them like, what do you think of this kind of, help me out, O.
Well, speaking on behalf of Darga and his illustrious holdings here, I'm going to have to say, if you're wanting him to step up production, you're going to need a substantial amount of capital up front. While I'm sure he'd be happy to meet you halfway on the terms, unfortunately, it's not as simple as just ramping up production.
The Imperial liaison turns to you, surprised that you claim to speak for Darga or on behalf of their private negotiations, and says, I'm sorry, are you Lord Darga's new maitre domo? Lustri Dava, have you turned all of your business dealings over to, and she looks at you, this person? Sort of half intrigued and half like disappointed, like, who are you to speak, between the business heads. Darga says, oh, no, private consultant, interested in his opinion, as well as you meeting him, firsthand. If you would excuse me, I will summon my majordomo and think upon this further. And doing the classic, you've had audience with the king, you stated your case, now bye-bye, he dismisses the liaison. You go away to your shuttle now, and I'll think the deal over. This is acceptable, and the Imperial agents don't seem surprised that he wants to think it over or anything, and they bail. The woman, with a long look, sort of a sneer, but does take the time to look you stem to stern there, Rahul, and they bail.
In my stolen stormtrooper armor.
Didn't want to say it out loud, but yeah, that's that could be what's going through her mind. Then Darga, waves you over. Not bad, want to try and see if you could catch them off guard. Now they believe, that I'm not so easily fooled, or maybe have a new player in the field. Two heads are better than one. What do you think,
Well, personally, I'm never fond in dealings with the Empire, because you can be sure that they ain't gonna do business unless they're coming out on top of the game. But that's just my opinion.
So they offered increased production, should he do it, increase payment in biological resources to him. So they're willing to pony up 80%, like they want double the stuff, right? So we have a deal, let's say 100 units, like giant canisters or, whatever, 100 units, 100% of stuff, and Darga's getting cash for this, okay? They want to double their, receiving. Give us twice as much, but we're only going to give you 80% cash. But wait, we'll give you the other 20% in biological resources, not cash. So he does get his 100%, but he's got to take an alternative payment in a biological resource, whatever that is.
Slaves.
And you know what? I'll even ask Darga about that. But not exactly what it is, but if the value of that biological resource is worth it for the 20%.
You have concerns that the Iron Ringo and these recent sub-quality of the Slavos aren't worth 20%? No. Darga does the screwing over with the slave trade, and other people aren't happy. When Darga takes Slavos, he makes sure that, Slavos are worth the proper 20%. Don't you worry.
Well, just, like I said, them Imperials, you can be sure they got something up their sleeve. They never take a loss on anything.
So, what are you saying? So basically, there's 3 points that he'd like you to, your opinion on. Should he double production? Should he take 80% money and 20% slaves? And should he take the, extra help that they offer with guards?
Well, as far as the extra help is concerned, they ain't going to be there to help you. You always got to keep that in mind. They don't work for you. They work for the Empire. So if push comes to shove, whose interests are going to back. So it's not really help for you. So there's no value in that. But biologicals, hey, if they're worth 20%, they're worth 20%. It's good as cash in my books. But yeah, as far as the extra help, I would say maybe you would rely on your own defenses and just take cash in lieu.
At that point, I will actually walk up to Rahal and, bow before Darga, as if to, wanting to speak my mind. Speak
He
freely.
narrows his. I narrow my eyes at the former intruder. When Pose has the audacity to approach, he remembers who he was. He was your guy that was caught. Doesn't say anything, but he narrows his eyes at him.
Oh, forgive me, Your Eminence. I didn't make proper introductions. This is my compatriot, Pose Sham.
I remember, fell like a rocko in the gladiator pit, not too impressive, then skulking around, in my dungeon,
His strong suit's never been combat. I can't lie about that. But he's always been a stand-up guy for me and my crew. As far as the skulking about goes, he tells a bit of a different story than what your gods tell. I don't want to argue semantics at this point. I think it's best to leave it as water under the bridge. But he's a pretty observant fellow. If he's got something to say, it's usually a good idea to listen.
Okay. Can I have just a straight-up intelligence check? Or, sorry, a perception check from... not from Haas, because he wasn't there. But from Poser and... Rahal, I believe we're there.
10.
17.
There's something familiar about this woman. You've seen her before, but the change of clothes, change of hairstyle, and change of attitude is throwing you off. But you've seen her somewhere before. And the tell was the pause where she looked you up and down, questioningly, like wondering who you are, or At first you're like, I'm wearing the Stormtrooper armor, but the more you think about it, the more you get talking about her, and you guys are talking about the deal and picturing her offering it in your head, little tells, and your mind flashes back to the room where it happens. Do you guys remember where you guys were pulled aside by Bail Organa's Matrodomo and asked to wait?
Yep.
Right? When you guys left, Bail Organa went off to, talk to a bunch of guests and whatever, and when you guys were ushering out in the hallways of Bail Organa's, mansion, as it were, she was there, dressed completely differently, but she was there, and she kind of, gave you a similar look over Organa's shoulder, wondering who you were, who he was talking to, kind of thing, and hanging out with a bunch of, snotty nobles and stuff, all up in Organa's grill in the guest list, as it were. The more you think about it, the more you're sure. No, she was there at Organa's.
Wonder what the implication of that is. Okay. I will not reveal that at this time.
Okay. One last thing. She wasn't with the guests. She was wearing, I wouldn't say a blatant naval uniform, but she was wearing utilitarian garb, like she worked for either Organa or for the planet, like she was security force, like she was part of the Alderaanian security force kind of thing. She was amongst the guests, but she looked like she was somebody's bodyguard or a rental from the planet to guard somebody important there.
Okay.
Never got her name,
And
never,
the plot
never tarried, anything
thickens.
like that. It just...
She seems to roll in some interesting circles.
Mm-hmm. But you want to stow that for now. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
At least until I can discuss it with them in private. I'm not going to drop it in front of Darga.
Discuss it with who? Bail Organa?
Oh, Poser.
Oh,
and
the rest of them. Sorry.
the rest of the crew,
Okay.
yeah.
This was before Haas's time, so no roll for Haas.
Nope, no roll for me.
Okay. So in the end, it's yes on it.
Well, I believe I was kind of making introductions to Darga so Poser could speak his mind.
Right. By all means.
My lord, while I wish not to get into the specific dealings that I've had in the past with the Imperials,
And I'll translate.
understand that when they get the chance to put a blaster bolt in your back and everyone that you cares about back, they will without hesitation. Relying on them for security is asking for brutal execution and dismantling of your entire empire.
Rawl just chuckles. Always a flair for the dramatic. But he's not wrong.
Much to ponder on. So, 3 points. Yes, no. Do you believe that he should increase production and get more money?
It seems like a no-brainer, absolutely.
Do you think
If
he
it's
can.
do you
possible.
think he should accept slaves as partial payment? Because you were kind of on the fence, and then you were going yes, no, maybe. So I was like, I want some clarification with that one.
I don't have an issue as long as you're getting, like, from a consultant standpoint, what I'm telling him, it may not be my personal feelings, but
So how about this? Good idea, bad idea. You know,
if you say that they have the same value to you as cash, then treat it as cash.
Okay.
So if it's worth it to you, take it. If not, don't.
you're giving him multiple choice. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Well,
it's like,
yeah. Well, no. If he says
he is,
that
he,
the
I guess
20%,
he is kind of asking for your personal advice. Like, what would you do? You know, would you personally take slaves as 20% payment? You think it's worth it? You know,
the slave trade is distasteful and untrustworthy. If you're not paying somebody for this service, how can you expect them to do you a service?
Okay.
It's distasteful. I don't like slaves, but if you find value in it that's equal to the cash, by all means, profit on it. I'm not telling you how to run your
oh,
business.
he asked. That's this was
I
saying.
wouldn't
Like,
take it.
he's literally set this up. Yeah, I know you're trying to role play this, but a gray. Hey, that's just me. But you could make your own mind up. But no, he's like he sets you up to kind of like, what do you think? Give it to me straight. Yes, no, down the line. You know, he won't judge you.
Then my answer is no. Slaves aren't a good way to do business.
And on the Imperial Red Train, Poser obviously is saying no, but
Hell no.
But that's the thing. Poser seems very biased at this point. So
Sure. But on the same token, from a security standpoint, it doesn't make any sense at all to do that. Why not just take money and have your own guys do the defense? Why do you want to put your troops here? Seems like an opportunity that they would take to stab you in the back.
yes, no is the final answer.
Yep. Yes, no.
Okay. He mulls it over. He seems pleased. You know, he danced around a bit, but he does seem pleased with your final answer. He seems pleased with you guys in general. Leave it at that for now. And calls back the Imperial visitors, who all roll back in.
I'll move back to my place on the wall.
It's not coming up for me. So they they roll back in. And the woman is, again, she's kind of looking at you quizzically. You know, like maybe she recognizes you from back there. Anyway, not just a couple sideline. You know,
Is there anything I can do to prevent
couple of
that?
sideline glances. Just make yourself scarce. You know, she comes in the room, scans it, finds you in the corner, and then just kind of shrewdly looks at you, and then looks away, like doesn't want to linger to give too much away, but just kind of like looks away. And Darga launches right into it. So, after much consideration,
my illustrious Lord
Come on,
Java has decided that it is within his mighty power to increase production of the Tabata gas refined at your leisure 100%. However, my lord insists on 100% payment for 100% Tabata gas. We have dealings with the Iron Ring and have no need of extra slaves at this time. As well, if you don't trust Lord Darga to protect his own goods while they remain in his care, pre-sale, that is, shall we say, not very business savvy. We do not need any extra protection, nor placement, or help from the Empire at this time. Thank you so much. So yes, no, and no.
and a big like his head just cocks 90 degrees. Cocks 90 degrees right at Rahal and gives the big wink. Only I can't wink, so one of his little eye units just blink out for an extended amount of time, and then blinks back on.
Ha!
And Jabba's like, and that's what's gonna be,
Darga.
Darga. Me and Darga. Jabba's a shitty cousin now. That's how it's gonna be, and we'll see you all next week, Say goodnight, poser, Still watching you,
Good night.
Good night, everyone. And stay tuned for more next week and every week, and possibly a little shift around. Maybe we do want in the Rollmongers bundle to show you as much content as we can, and we will shift some of the shows around. So it's the Star Wars next week. You might be watching Starfinder. Who knows? And all of this is possible in the last 8 weeks before the new year because we want to show you what we can do. Keeping up this many shows is a bit of a strain on our resources and on the personnel. So we would like to give you a peek at what's coming up, as well as what we could possibly do with your support. We want to do these shows. We enjoy doing these shows, and we are airing these shows already. But to get them up every week, or at least every bi-weekly, you've noticed some of our stuff we're leaning towards some of our favorites or some of the more populars and letting some of the other ones slide. Bringing them all together, getting a network of shows consistently, weekly, bi-weekly, is going to rely a lot on contribution from ourselves, hard work, and your enjoyment. Let's hear from you. Email us, leave comments, let us know what you like, what you don't like, which shows are your preference, please. And if you can spare a dime, check us out on patreon.com/rollmongers, where you and your even $5 a month, come in, you spend more than that on coffee, can directly affect role play as well as action play, force play, and the way the shows turn out. Not just watching, but having direct effect on dice rolls and some outcomes, saving our butts, or maybe even giving the bad guys an edge. Are you worried about plot armor? Are you worried about cakewalking through the stuff and you want to give the guys a little rougher go? Give the old GM Jeff a hand. Give Rob Hammond a hand. Give Philip Trout, our new Pure Steam GM, who's going to have a go at his one-shot, his own show. And then a hand, check us out. Until then, thank you. Know that all of our content is free, and we only withhold the odd bonus content here and there. All of our shows are free. You can find us everywhere: SoundCloud, Stitcher, YouTube for the video aspect. Live Friday nights, we stream for Dark Galaxies Gaming. We stream for ourselves at twitch.tv/GM's Cut. And as always, most of our product is sponsored by Dicewise Entertainment, by Fantasy Grounds, and by Devon Knights Minis. Thank you so much. Good night.